I'm In with the ARCC is brought to you by StoredTech, your technology, our passion. And now here's your host for I'm In with the ARCC, Amanda Blanton.
Welcome to I'm In with the ARCC. Thanks for joining us today. I am your host, Amanda Blanton, Vice President, Marketing and Communications for the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce. And today my guest is Dave Gutman. He's the Director of Business Development for Quick Response Restoration. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. We've had a pretty lengthy discussion before the show, which is always fun, kind of going over what we're going to talk about today. But I did learn that you've been on the job now with Quick Response for a little over 5 months, which is really awesome. But you know your stuff, so we're excited to learn today.
Yeah. Came aboard December 1st, and it already feels like it's been a lifetime. So.
Yeah. You found your happy place, so we love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Now, the company is owned locally, family-owned, the Lorenzo family, correct?
Yeah, I'll give you a little background just to kind of fill in some gaps. So family-owned and operated from the beginning. So we're coming up on almost 30 years in business.
Wow.
We're based right in Round Lake on Route 9, so that's our home sweet home. But it's humble beginnings. So think of Vince and the Lorenzo family, the owners still to this day, back, call it 30 years ago, working in the construction field and, think masonry and job sites and being in that life day to day. And, one day he took a peek across the lot and he saw there was some trucks over there and they were doing something a little out of the ordinary. And he thought, well, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And he learned they were doing restoration work. There had been a flood, water damage, and it just sparked an interest in his mind. Started asking some questions, and saw a really unique business opportunity there to run with, and that's kind of how he got started. And just over the years, he's built it up more and more, brought on more people, more equipment, and it's grown to just a thriving business today. So it's a pretty, and that's an abbreviated version, of course, but a pretty impressive success story, in the business world.
No, that's great. And I think that's what makes this region so special is how many family-owned businesses there are, right? And when you see those milestones, 30 years, 40, 50, it's a lot to celebrate. Yeah.
And for me personally, I've always been kind of a corporate person.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for some pretty big, Fortune 500 type of companies. And that's a big part of what attracted me to it. Just the community roots.
Yep.
That local presence. I was actually a customer of Quick Response, and we can get into that story if you like. But that's important. You feel that day to day. Like if I'm out and about and I'm wearing a Quick Response sweater like I am right now, people talk to me. They say, "Oh, you guys helped me, help my mom's house last year."
Yeah.
Or I love the Christmas lights in the wintertime. And it's a really good feeling.
It is, yeah. And you and I were chatting before the show, Quick Response is the type of business that you call probably when you're having a really bad day, right? It's a scenario that is not ideal for your home or business, but you're giving them a call. But the point is Quick Response turns it around, right? And takes care of all the things.
Yes.
So that you can get back to doing your things.
It's very well said.
Yeah.
And we recognize, to your point, that it's not a fun day for you if you have to call us in your time of need when you've had an incident. But for those who might not be familiar with what we do, we are the largest restoration company in the capital region. And what does that mean? So we handle the really messy stuff. Mm-hmm. So think the big three, right? Water damage, fire damage, mold damage. Those are the three cornerstones of what we do. There are a lot of other services that we could get into, but those are the three most common.
Absolutely.
Where if you're a homeowner or a business owner, or you manage a large manufacturing facility or a hospital or a school, and you have those types of incidents, if it's something, large enough where your own teams can't handle it, or you as the homeowner can't handle it yourselves, you have to call in a specialist. So that's where we come into play. We dry everything out. We If there's mold in the house or in the business or in the facility, we handle that remediation process and cleanup and sanitation. Fire and smoke is pervasive, and that's where we really shine and can help get things back to new. So we handle a lot of that messy stuff, and like you said, just get your home back to good as new, or get your place of business back up and running as soon as possible.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So you mentioned that you actually have a personal experience with quick response before you started working for them. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that story? Because it might resonate with someone.
100%. And I tell this story a lot, but about 3 years ago, I live in the Stillwater area, kind of close to Saratoga Lake. And, we just had a little water in the basement that didn't want to go away. And I thought it was
belong there. Yeah.
it didn't seem to be coming from the outside. I couldn't identify what it was, but it wouldn't go away. So called the plumber. Mike, my plumber, came over and, took him a little bit, but found the source of where the water was coming from. He actually pulled out my dishwasher, punched through the sheetrock behind the dishwasher to expose the pipes. And sure enough, there was like a hairline crack in one of the PVC pipes, and water was seeping out of it and pooling in the basement. So my plumber said, okay, I'm going to stop right here, and you're going to call Vince at Quick Response.
Yep.
And they're going to take it from here.
Okay.
And I said, who the heck is Quick Response? I don't even know what you're talking about. And he says, trust me, I've been working with them for years. They're really good at this. That's the one call you're going to make, and just let them run with it. And he was right. Yeah. In about 30 minutes from me making that call, I had a crew in my house. They had the plastic covers on the shoes, to make sure they didn't mess up my house. And it was just so routine for them. They evaluated the situation, and within just a few minutes, they knew what type of equipment had to be brought in, and dry everything out, and the floors had to be replaced, and some of the sheetrock and paint, and it turned out to be a good 2-week project. But for them, it was just so normal. Right. So I've got, my wife is freaking out and she's emotional, and I'm thinking, what is this going to cost me? And,
exactly. Yeah.
And they just, not only did they restore everything, and we basically got a brand new basement out of it, which was fantastic. Right. But they handled all the negotiations with our homeowners insurance provider.
Wow.
I didn't have to lift a finger with any of that.
Yeah.
So out of pocket, it was, whatever our deductible is, like $500, $1,000, but it was about a $30,000 project that they just handled, and made sure that it lined up with our coverage, and it was just very clean, not stressful at all. Yep. And all those people that were in my house that day are now my coworkers. So
that's so cool.
Pretty cool full circle moment for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's just so cool to hear, because again, you're thinking, this is the worst day of my life, right? I found water in the basement, or mold in a closet, or whatever it may be. You call Quick Response, and you're like, what's going to happen next? And they took care of everything, even getting a hold of your insurance company, which in my mind would be like, that's my next phone call, and thinking about all the hoops I got to jump through. They handled it.
It's a good point. And we actually encourage people, it's one of our slogans, to make us your first call.
Yeah.
Because if you do call us first before your insurance provider, we can coach you through that process and just put all your nerves at ease and just say, look, this is what we do every day. Yeah. We're experienced. We're really good at running the playbook here, and we'll make sure that the scope of our work lines up with your coverage.
Absolutely.
So that it's just a stress-free situation for you. So, but you're right. Like small, our situation was small, 3-bedroom house in Stillwater, but small, medium, or large, like we run the gamut of all different types of projects. We've done large scale projects for hospitals and school districts, manufacturing facilities.
Yeah.
So, if I had to break it down, I'd say about 80% of our projects come from residences. Okay. Homeowners like you and I. Yeah. About 20% of our projects are commercial. Okay. Large scale, like some of those facilities I mentioned. But on a revenue basis, it's more like 50-50 because those commercial projects tend to be very, very large.
Absolutely. And, water, mold, fire, doesn't really care what you do in that building. The damage will be done, right?
Absolutely. I've learned that quickly, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And there's there's kind of a seasonality to our business too.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think a lot of people out there who might be listening have felt this at one point or another.
Sure.
So people, when they ask me like, all right, what are you seeing out there these days? What's going on? And burst pipes are probably the most common situation where we'll get called in.
Absolutely.
So when does that happen? It happens in the deep winter, typically, right?
And we had a cold one this year, so yeah.
So you led me right to it.
Yeah.
So I've learned quickly there are kind of two phases of the winter freeze up, right?
Yep.
There's that really harsh cold snap where it's 10 below or 20 below overnight. And all those pipes freeze and a lot of them burst.
Yeah.
And we're getting calls, and quite frankly, our competitors too are getting a lot of those calls as well. Like all those frozen pipes, people need help. And then that chaos, you're living in that chaos day to day, and then there's that second wave where the temperatures warm up a little bit, and all those pipes that are frozen but haven't burst yet, now they burst. And there's a whole second wave of winter madness that comes.
Oh my goodness!
So look, good. No one's complaining, right? Good problem for us to have. We don't wish for these things to happen, but it's just life in upstate New York.
It is, yeah.
So winter is wild and busy, and our guys and gals who are on the crews are really working their tails off.
Yeah.
And then you get to where we are right now, where spring has begun. Yeah. Well, kind of begun, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the day. I think it's the high of 42 today. But now winter has melted away. Yeah. And the rains of springtime come, and it's a ton of moisture.
Oh, yeah.
It's water at every turn. And now you get a lot of flooded basements. Yeah. You get a lot of those calls are, hey, I've got, this is overflowing. I've got water coming in from, I don't know where it's coming from.
Sure. But I've
got 3 inches of water in my basement. Can you come help me out? So that's kind of where we are right now. In the calendar year. And then, just looking ahead to the future, right? When summer comes, that's when a lot of mold issues arise.
Because we get that humidity and the heat and everything. Yeah.
Correct. Where we live up here, no shortage of moisture any time of the year, right?
Sure.
So mold tends to rear its ugly head during the summer months, keeps us busy there in that regard. And then the issue that knows no season at all is fire and smoke. That can happen any time of the year. Yeah. Winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever, and we have to handle those as well. So, from January to Christmas, it's plenty to keep us busy.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
As the seasons change, the weather changes. And, nobody ever thinks like a pipe is going to burst in their house. You're just never prepared for that moment, right?
Correct. It's, you never know when that's going to happen. But when it does, you're kind of thrust into chaos mode and, what do I do? Who do I call? And, one of the greatest things that I give out in my day-to-day, we have these magnets, these refrigerator magnets.
Oh, brilliant.
It's in the shape of a truck.
Yep.
I'll give you one before we leave today. It's got our phone number on it. Yeah. And I tell people, I'm like, look, just take one of these magnets.
Put it on your fridge.
Put it on the side of your fridge.
Yep.
So it's there, but you don't have to look at it every day.
Yeah.
And if something happens and you're just emotional and it's craziness, you don't have to go fumbling through for a phone number. It's right there in your fridge.
It's right there, and it's the first call you need to make.
There you go.
Absolutely. Dave, thanks again for giving us a little history lesson about the company and a glimpse into what you guys really do. And it's getting homes back to new and businesses back up and running after those unforeseen circumstances, right?
My pleasure. If it's helpful, I could give a couple of examples of maybe some interesting projects that have come our way over the last year or so.
Yeah.
And we won't name any specific names, but I'll just give kind of a broad description. But just examples of things that can happen.
Sure.
And it's nobody's fault. Mm-hmm. And the losses can really pile up and become pretty large scale. So one that comes to mind was picture like a large indoor athletic facility.
Okay. Yeah, we have quite a few of those up here.
Quite a few of those. And there was through no fault of their own, there was a transformer issue nearby.
boy.
So outside their building, we drive by, we see the big wooden poles, right? The power lines.
Yep.
And there was an issue with the transformer. It sent a power surge to the building, to the facility.
Boy. Okay.
So fire broke out. So we had, fair amount of fire and smoke damage inside. But then all the sprinklers went off, which is what they're meant to do.
Absolutely.
And just the entire floor surface of this, call it a 20,000 square foot facility. Just covered in water. Covered in water.
Golly.
Yeah. So, so we were there for a good, call it 6 months.
Wow.
On again, off again.
Sure.
Just drying everything out.
It's a process. Yeah.
Exactly. Sections of the floor had to be replaced or restored in some way, and all that fire and smoke damage is pretty pervasive and had to be mitigated. So that's a big example of something that can happen. And we I mentioned we were there for about 6 months, and that's not uncommon in our world. Yeah, it's not ideal, but a good example of how, if you call us in a situation like that, we'll get you up and running, and we actually will work off hours.
Okay.
This is important to know too. So we have, once the business is back up and running, we want you to stay that way, because if you're shut down as a business, you're losing money.
Absolutely.
So we'll strike an arrangement with the owners of the property to, once we've reached the point of being business normal again, where you can operate, you'll be open during the day. Yep. And our crews will come in and work overnight.
Right, when you're not open to the public, and then, that makes sense.
So, a lot of people don't know that about us. We do that when it's necessary, so that business operations can remain as normal. Yeah. And we don't interfere with a lot of what's happening there.
That's great.
So that's one that comes to mind. And another that I'll mention is a school district. So this was a couple summers back, August. We got the call that they had discovered a large mold issue in an elementary school.
Yeah.
So you're in August. You're less than a month from the school opening in September. You can't have a bunch of elementary school kids running around with mold conditions, right?
Yeah.
So we got the call for that as well. We were actually the second call for that one. One of our competitors got the call first, went out there on site, quoted them a price. It was a pretty high number. School districts, not a lot of free cash flow, right?
Sure,
so
absolutely, yeah.
Trying to maybe find a better price point, called us second, sent a team out there, and we handled the job for about half of what their initial quote was. Yeah,
I'm sure they were relieved.
Well, yeah, they were thrilled with the price point, but more importantly, we were able to keep them on track for school opening.
That's great.
In September.
Absolutely.
So just win-win all around.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say they'll be a customer for life. So
yeah.
That was a good one. And then I guess one more that I would mention is, we're a local company. We're about 50 employees, 50, 60 employees, to give you a sense of size and scale. We have the ability to scale up for super large projects if needed. We belong to a coalition. Think of it as a I don't want to say a labor union, but a coalition of emergency responders.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if it's a really big project where it's going to be 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and we need 50 more laborers to arrive in 24 hours, we can make a phone call.
You can tap into that. That's good to know.
That tends to happen in more high-risk areas like Florida, where there's hurricanes.
Absolutely.
And natural disasters, but it happens up here too. But we were touching on this before we went on the air. When there are catastrophic events nationally, examples would be Superstorm Sandy. Gosh, I guess that's 10 or 11 years ago now, which I can't believe.
We all remember it, right?
right. September 11th is an extreme example, but Puerto Rico a few years ago, when they had their terrible natural disasters, they swept through that area. We get those calls too.
Okay.
Because the need for restoration work is so severe.
Yeah, absolutely.
the local providers can be tapped out pretty quickly, and we'll get those calls, and this is where Vince can really be, just a generous person and really, he's got a good heart and wants to help where he can, and we'll send crews, we'll send trucks, we'll send equipment.
That's great.
To those areas and help out as best we can. So
that's incredible. Yeah. So it's not just helping people locally here; it could be across the United States. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's really, really cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about the commitment to community as well. So on top of doing an incredible job again of getting homes and businesses back up and running after a disaster, you guys do this amazing Christmas display during the holiday season.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Something to look forward to.
Sure. It's become fairly famous, I would say, locally, and for good reason. Vince is the king of Christmas, and it's very near and dear to his heart. And started this years ago as just a way, like you said, of giving back to the community and showing our thanks. The community's been really good to us over the years, and essentially what it is at our property in Round Lake on Route 9, for those who have not experienced it yet, when November 15th comes, that's our go live date for the Christmas lights, and our property just turns into this winter wonderland of lights and sequential, displays, and it's all very Christmassy and holiday themed, and it's open to the public. It's free for anyone who wants to drive through. So load up the car with your kids, you drive through the entrance, and you just slowly kind of cruise around the property and take in all the lights. I think it takes maybe 7 minutes to drive through, slowly, of course, but it's really fun. And then, we'll host a lot of private events too, in that time from November 15th to call it early January. We'll have, school districts come through with the kids, senior living facilities come through with those folks. They come in by the busload, and we have fun with that. We have a first responders night. We actually call it Hometown Heroes Night.
Oh, I love that.
So police, firefighters, EMS, and their families, they come, they have a great time. There's live music, there's all kinds of food and
so cool.
Face painter for the kids. Cool stuff. So it's very important to us to give back to the community. And what has happened over the years is this incredible marriage between quick response and the local community, because chances are, if you live in the capital region, whether you're a homeowner or running a business or managing a large commercial property, you've probably had to call us at some point,
right,
for an emergency, an issue, and if that's the case, then we are very thankful for that. We recognize that for people to call us in their time of need is a unique thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the Christmas celebration is something we get so jazzed about. If and a lot of people don't know this, but we actually start the setup in August.
Oh my gosh.
So our
it's quite an undertaking.
Our workforce, our crews, when they're not out on job sites, they're putting up Christmas lights.
That's great.
It's just warehouses full of lights and displays and stuff. But piece by piece, little by little, it gets done. Good. And when November 15th comes, that go live date, it's exciting. It's fun. It really is. Yeah,
that's so cool.
And then we do a lot of other events throughout the year too. So we just Easter just passed a couple weeks ago. So the Saturday before Easter, that weekend before, we had an Easter Fun Fest at our property.
Awesome.
And we promoted it through social media and some other outlets. I think we had close to 6,000 people come through.
That's incredible.
And that Saturday it was 35 degrees out.
Right. So the weather did not deter.
We were stunned. We had overflow parking. We had we had to bus people in from the church down the street on Route 9.
Oh my goodness.
But
the community showed up.
Everyone was smiling.
That's great.
Kids were having fun. Pictures with the Easter Bunny, and it was a blast. And we have others throughout the summer. We have a big car show coming up in June.
Okay.
classic cars on display everywhere.
So cool.
Barbecue, cookout going on, music, fun for the whole family. We like to have a lot of fun.
That's good.
We like to give back. And,
that's great.
And the community shows up. So as long as they keep coming out, we'll keep doing it.
You'll keep hosting.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys giving back to the community in that way. It's really cool because they give so much to you as well. So as we round out the show here, Dave, I want to make sure to give you the opportunity to share how we get in touch with Quick Response because, you can't give magnets to everybody. I know you're going to try.
Yes.
But in case anyone finds himself in a situation where they need quick responses, services, what's the best way to get a hold of them?
Yeah, so a couple different ways, but if you're in a jam like that in your house or place of business, and what do we do, right? Instinctively, we ask somebody we know.
Absolutely.
A neighbor, a friend, like, hey, I've got this going on.
Right.
Who do you use?
Who do
you
call?
trust?
Yeah.
Chances are they're going to say Quick Response.
Yeah.
But if you are not in that situation, our website is qrrestore.com. Our phone number is I have memorized in my head because it's just the one you call.
Yep.
518-899-7090. And that is a 24/7 phone number. It's another good thing to touch on real quick.
Absolutely.
Many restoration companies will claim to have 24/7 coverage. Not every one of them does.
Okay.
So we are, if it's 1 a.m. and you call us, maybe you call me first and I'm asleep on the couch. If you call that number, you will get a live person
Great.
on the telephone that will assess your situation, not only take all the facts and everything you want to share with us, but dispatch a team.
Wonderful.
Quickly. So we have overnight crews. They go 7 days on, 7 days off. We stagger them for that reason.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's in the middle of the night and you have an emergency situation, you don't have to wait till 12 noon the next day.
Right.
To get a team there.
That's good.
We'll send a team there.
Yeah.
As quickly as we would at 11 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in the name, right?
Exactly.
Quick response.
There you go. Well
You guys really mean it. No, but that's great to hear. And thank you for mentioning that too, because some people are like, oh, I guess I can't call till 9 a.m. tomorrow. Like, nope, call when it's happening. The sooner you guys can get a crew out there, the better. So
couldn't have said it better.
Yep, absolutely. Is there anything else you want to mention before we end the show today?
Yeah, I will say one other thing. It's a great place to work.
Yeah.
It's we were touching on this earlier, but I kind of came from the corporate world.
Sure.
And, big companies where you're just one of thousands of employees. Everyone who works at Quick Response tends to stay there.
Oh, good.
The tenure is really impressive. Our general manager has been there for 28 years, almost since the beginning.
Yeah.
Our head of the mitigation department, he's been there for, I think, 13 years.
Wow.
The head of our reconstruction division has been there for 18 years. So people stick around, and that's not by accident. So,
right.
So it's a great place to work. If you're out there and you're looking for a career change, inquire within. It's really we're always looking for good people, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the people there. So
awesome.
That'll be my cherry on top for
I love it. I love it. Thank you for mentioning that, because you just never know who's listening, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you again for your time. Learned so much today. Love the commitment to community as well. So you guys keep up the great work.
Amanda, thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
You're so welcome. And that's all the time we have for today on I'm In with the ARCC. Be sure to tune in next week.